My wife left a post-it on the fridge that read, "I need space to find myself. Don't text." She packed a bag and moved into the guest house, the one we rented out to a younger guy named Reed. Her journey of self-discovery involved yoga leggings, protein smoothies, and his bed. She thought I'd wait. I didn't. My name's Cal. I'm 35, run a small but busy yacht repair business out of Blue Water Cove, South Carolina, and I thought I was living the damn dream. House by the water, no mortgage, no kids, just me and Shayla, my wife of 9 years. We were that couple. Or so I thought. She was a barista turned life coach after watching too many TED Talks. You know the type. Mornings with matcha lattes and crystal-infused bath rituals. She started calling our bedroom a space for aligned intimacy and our garage energetically cluttered. That should have been my first clue, but I ignored it. I was always elbow deep in fiberglass fixing up someone's busted speedboat. Work kept me busy, and Shayla? Well, she had her clients, her vision boards, and her growing obsession with mindfulness podcasts recorded by men with six-packs and trust funds. Then came Reed. Reed was 27, fresh out of somewhere expensive. He moved into the guest house last December, right before Christmas. Said he needed a creative retreat while writing his autobiographical screenplay. Read, unemployed rich kid with a man bun and a vape pen surgically attached to his hand. At first, I didn't pay him any mind. Rent showed up on time, he kept to himself, and hell, I even helped him patch up his old canoe. He called me boss man and acted like I was his rugged blue-collar hero, but something felt off. Shayla started accidentally bumping into Reed during his shirtless morning sun salutations. She claimed he had a balanced aura. He claimed she had an intoxicating divine presence. I claimed they were both full of it. Still, I brushed it off, until that stupid post-it. I came home from a long day sanding hulls, sunburned and starving, and found our fridge covered in magnets, a takeout receipt, and that neon green note. Cal, I need space to figure things out. Please respect this and don't text me. I'm staying in the guest house. Shayla. The guest house. With Reed? She didn't even have the guts to say it face to face. I stood there, covered in grime and disbelief, rereading that tiny square like it was going to turn into a prank. It didn't. She meant it. At first, I didn't react. I made a sandwich, cracked a beer, and stared out the back window at the little white house across the yard where my wife had just started her soul journey. Every once in a while, I caught a flicker of movement through the blinds. Hers, his, both, whatever. I slept like a corpse that night. Woke up the next morning to the sound of laughter, hers, floating through the open windows. I looked outside. She was on the porch, wrapped in one of my hoodies, sipping green juice from a mason jar, talking to Reed like they were on a damn honeymoon. She saw me, waved. I waved back, then I smiled. Because that was the moment I decided. I wasn't going to scream. I wasn't going to beg. I was going to bury her. Quietly, strategically, emotionally, financially. This wasn't heartbreak. It was war. That day, I called my buddy Granger, who runs the dive bar down the road. Told him I needed a favor. "You finally gonna burn that woman's crystal collection?" he joked. "Not yet," I replied. "But I'm gonna start remodeling her life." I knew Shayla never updated her legal address after we refinanced the house last year. The property, including the guest house, was in my name. Fully. She was living in my space, with her boy toy, while drinking my oat milk. That gave me options, and I planned to use everyone. The next morning, I filed the paperwork, eviction notice. Signed, notarized, and perfectly legal. Non-paying guests, I wrote on the form. Unauthorized sublet activity. My lawyer, Mr. Darrell Moffat, a semi-retired shark with a vendetta against cheating spouses, grinned when I told him the story. "Let her taste her own chakra soup," he said, stamping the documents. I taped the notice to the guest house door at exactly 6:45 a.m., then I rang the bell and walked away. I didn't need to stick around. The reaction came fast. Less than 20 minutes later, my phone buzzed like a rattlesnake having a seizure. Shayla, 10 missed calls, 5 texts, a voice message that started with, "What the hell, Cal?" and ended in tearful gasps about boundaries and emotional ambushes. I ignored all of it. Instead, I went down to the marina, told my crew I needed a few days off. They didn't ask questions. I was the boss, and I looked like a man about to commit emotional arson. Back at the house, I cracked a beer and watched from the kitchen window. Shayla stormed out of the guest house barefoot, phone in hand, hair wild. wearing one of Reed's t-shirts. She pounded on my back door like she was auditioning for a zombie movie. I let her knock. When I finally opened it, I was calm. She was not. "What is this? You're kicking us out?" I raised an eyebrow. "Us? You mean you and the tenant?" "Don't play games, Cal. This is spiteful, cruel. You're weaponizing your feelings." "No," I said, keeping my voice even. "I'm weaponizing the deed. You remember the deed, right? You signed nothing. You left. You have no legal right to squat on my property with Captain Avocado Toast." She stared at me like I'd just slapped her with a yoga mat. "I needed time." "And you got it. But time's up, Shayla. I didn't abandon my vows. You did." She blinked hard, tears forming like she was prepping for a movie scene. "I thought you loved me." "I did," I replied. "Then you moved into my backyard. With a vape-scented screenplay artist." Her lip trembled. I closed the door in her face. The lock clicked like punctuation. 3 hours later, I heard Reed shouting outside. "This is bullshit, man! You can't do this!" I opened the window. "You're trespassing, Reed. I paid rent. You paid last month. She's not on the lease. You've got 72 hours. He flipped me off. I laughed. "Elegant." That night, while they scrambled to find a motel, I sat on the porch with my dad's old radio and played Johnny Cash just loud enough for them to hear it. "Love is a burning thing," the lyrics sang, "and it makes a fiery ring." Poetic. Justice? Maybe. But I wasn't done. The next day, I posted our story anonymously to a local Facebook group for Blue Water Cove. Not a word of fiction. No names, no slander, just the cold, embarrassing facts. My wife left me for the guy renting our guest house. Now she's mad she's getting evicted. Should I feel guilty? Within hours, it blew up. Hundreds of comments, most of them brutal. Let her detox her soul in a Motel 6. She found herself in someone else's bed. You're a hero. Serve that karma cold. Shyla's social media vanished that evening. Reed's Instagram went private, but screenshots had already spread. Then came the phone call from her mother. "Cal, is it true?" I didn't sugarcoat it, told her everything. She went silent, then muttered, "I'll handle it." And oh, she did. Shayla's spiritual tribe? Gone. Her coaching clients? Canceled. Her email? Leaked. Someone exposed she was charging $300 a session for recycled Pinterest quotes and expired coupons for bath salts. The next time I saw her, she was standing at the end of the driveway in tears. "You ruined me," she whispered. I stared at her. "No, Shayla, you ruined yourself." 3 days later, the eviction clock hit 0. Reed tried to delay it. Begged, actually. Said he was a week away from finishing his screenplay and couldn't write in a hostile energy field. His idea of a compromise, asking if they could spiritually rent the space without financial exchange. I said no, politely. Then I sent a moving company to pack their crap, at their expense. Reed tried to film it. Told the movers they were stealing his art. They asked if his art included a $700 weighted blanket, a neon breathe sign, and 3 boxes of organic granola. Spoiler, it did. They were gone by sunset. The yard was quiet again. Shayla texted that night, "You humiliated me. You've become vindictive." I replied with one word. Correct. The next morning I met with my lawyer again. We filed separation papers. Daryl, sipping stale coffee like it was champagne, asked if I wanted to pursue fault-based grounds. "Oh, yeah," I said. "Adultery with a side of emotional gaslighting." He raised his mug. "To justice." That's when the story turned. 2 days later, Reed showed up at my marina, sweaty, pale, talking a mile a minute. "Hey, man." "Cal." "Brother, listen, I need a favor." I slowly looked up from the outboard motor I was fixing. "You want me to punch you, right?" He laughed nervously. No, look, I'm leaving town. Shayla, she's not okay." I stood up. "Not okay how?" "She's freaking out. Says she's got nothing left. Screamed at me for not defending her. Said she gave up everything for me. Her marriage, her clients, her reputation. And that now I owe her my life. She started throwing crystals at me, man." I blinked. She hit me with a rose quartz the size of a grapefruit. He lifted his shirt. There was a bruise, shaped like a potato. I tried not to laugh. I failed. She said she sees my true self now, and that it's weak. Then she accused me of sabotaging her spiritual alignment. I don't even know what that means. Sounds like she found her feelings. She found a baseball bat. She smashed my vape. Reed's meltdown continued. He asked if I could talk to her. Me? I asked. Yeah. You're her husband. She listens to you. Oh, I said, wiping my hands. No, she heard me. There's a difference. He left, cursing. Probably on the way to crash on someone's futon and cry into his overpriced beard, oil. Later that night, I got an email from Shayla. Not a text, an actual email. Subject line, open heart conversation. She wrote 400 words about pain, the universe, false starts, wounded feminine energy, and some metaphor involving a phoenix and a canyon. Then she dropped the real bomb. I'd like to come back for real this time. Let's do therapy, let's rebuild. I'll sleep on the couch. I'll even sign whatever boundaries you need. I sat there staring at the screen. Then I hit print. Then I set it on fire in my grill. The next morning, she showed up in person. Again. Only this time. She had company, her older sister Talia. Now, Talia and I used to be cool. She's a corporate type from Atlanta, sharp as nails and twice as sarcastic. She always said I was too vanilla for Shayla. Guess who was holding back laughter when she walked up? Cal, she said. I've been summoned to mediate the reconciliation. I crossed my arms. Shayla stood behind her, red-eyed, barefoot, holding a mason jar like it was a peace treaty. She's not doing well, Talia said. Frankly, neither of us think she and Reed were ever going to work out. Shocking, I muttered. She made a mistake. She made a choice, I corrected. Talia nodded slowly. Look, I don't agree with her methods, but she's still your wife. No, I said. She's a trespasser in a marriage she set on fire. That shut her up. Shayla stepped forward, voice shaking. I know I don't deserve forgiveness, but I'm asking anyway. I looked her dead in the eyes. You didn't just cheat. You moved in with the guy. You wrote me off with a post-it. And now that it exploded in your face, you think I'm your safe zone? No. That ship sank. She burst into tears. Talia led her away like a scolded toddler in a Whole Foods. But the best part? They left behind the mason jar. It had a note taped to it. This jar contains intentions for our healing. Please place it in a sunlit area and whisper your truth into it each morning. I threw it in the marina dumpster. Then I whispered, my truth, I'm done. The next morning, I woke up to silence. Not peaceful silence. That eerie, unnatural calm before something blows up. Then it happened. A sheriff's deputy knocked on my door just after 7 a.m. Hat tipped, voice neutral. Cal Montgomery? I nodded, instinctively bracing. You've been served. He handed me a packet of papers. Temporary restraining order. Filed by Shayla. My ex-wife-to-be claimed I was emotionally abusive. Said I weaponized. Public shame to ruin her livelihood. Her affidavit included Facebook screenshots, text messages, and one particularly hilarious comment someone made. She should have moved in with a therapist instead of a barista-chasing yoga clown. I didn't write it. Didn't matter. She accused me of orchestrating a smear campaign, of turning the neighborhood against her, of destroying her spiritual brand. I sat on the porch steps, flipping through the pages. Rage and disbelief doing. A full-body wrestling match inside me. She cheated. She left. She moved in with another man in my own backyard, and I'm the abuser? I called Daryl. He chuckled before I even finished the sentence. She's cornered, he said, and now she's pulling the classic desperation play. What do? Get ready, this won't be the last hit she throws. He was right. Within hours, she made it official, posted a video to her newly revived YouTube channel. Title, How I Survived Narcissistic Betrayal, My Healing Journey thumbnail. A close-up of her tear-streaked face, holding a sage stick and one of the eviction notices I'd posted. The video went viral in our town, overnight. Suddenly, I was the villain in her redemption arc. The cold-hearted, emotionally unavailable husband who refused to support her journey of self-awakening. Comments flooded in from crystal-stoned strangers. Cal sounds toxic. She deserves peace. Men like him are energy leeches. I stayed quiet. But Granger didn't. He commented. She found her peace in Reed's lap. Y'all buying snake oil. The comment got 500 likes. She deleted the video. Again. Then she doubled down. Next came the podcast interviews. She booked a spot on a local healing and empowerment show hosted by some woman named Saffron with purple hair and a gong. They sipped turmeric lattes while Shayla cried about sacrificing her soul to a man who hated her light. I watched the whole thing while eating pork rinds and rebuilding a busted trolling motor. She said I was afraid of strong women. That I intimidated her with silence. That she never felt safe being herself. I paused the video, then laughed, out loud. Not because it was funny, but because it was so perfectly ridiculous. And yet, people believed her. Clients started pulling their boats from my shop. Not many, just enough to notice. Someone left a review online calling me emotionally unstable and aggressive toward women. The smear campaign had flipped. I wasn't just the abandoned husband anymore. I was now the villain in someone else's morality play. I couldn't sit still. That night, I grabbed the folder. The one with all the receipts, screenshots, emails, the eviction notice, her post-it, her emails begging to come back, the texts she sent to my sister trashing Reed. I went to Daryl. He flipped through it like a kid with a new comic book. "You want to play dirty?" he asked. "I want to play smart." We filed a formal defamation countersuit, and this time we named her YouTube income. Turns out, she was raking in PayPal donations from fans who thought she was rebuilding her life after abuse. She told them she was living in a car. In reality, she was shacked up with her sister in a townhouse in Savannah, drinking wine and Reiki blasting her trauma into a ring light. The next court date was set, and that's when I made my final move. I uploaded my own video, just one. No tags, no title, just me, on my porch, reading the original post-it she left me. No commentary, no drama, just 10 seconds of silence at the end, staring into the camera. It spread like wildfire. No words, no editing, just truth. Even her fans saw it. Even her sister saw it. Shayla called me 3 times that night. I didn't answer. I was already planning the final step. It was almost over, and she had no idea what was coming next. Court day. The hallway outside the courtroom smelled like floor wax and tension. Shayla sat on the bench in a cream shawl and sad eyes, clutching a journal like it was a holy relic. Her lawyer looked bored, probably regretting taking on a case, held together by incense and half-truths. I sat across from them, silent. Daryl sipped coffee like it was blood. Inside, the judge, gray, tired, and absolutely allergic to drama, glanced through the files like he'd seen every trick in the book. Shayla's team claimed reputational damage, emotional distress, and retaliatory defamation. Daryl handed over our folder, labeled Truth. Inside, screenshots, emails, voicemails, her YouTube donation records, her post-it, her live stream where she called me her safe, reliable fallback, her email from 2 weeks earlier begging for a second chance, even just to sleep on the couch, her texts trashing Reed, calling him spiritually small and low frequency. The judge looked up. "Ms. Montgomery, you said this man emotionally terrorized you?" Shayla blinked, her voice small. "I was confused and lost. You also emailed him asking to reconcile and offered to sign a written boundary agreement. Do you recall that?" Her silence was louder than her tears. Motion. Denied. Our countersuit? Allowed. Shayla's jaw dropped. We weren't just clearing my name. We were about to bleed her YouTube income. Daryl leaned in and whispered, "Next time she manifests something, it'll be a bill." But the real blow didn't land until later that evening, because I wasn't done. Not yet. I had one last surprise. Shayla's clients, those loyal spiritual seekers who'd been fed a diet of martyrdom and victimhood, were about to learn the truth, all of it. I emailed them, not to attack her, but to share the video, the one with the post-it, the silence, the moment her lie collapsed. And I included one more thing, her own voice, a voicemail she'd left me at 2 a.m. 3 weeks earlier, sobbing. "I messed everything up, Cal. I don't even know who I am without you. I don't want to be with Reed. I just wanted to feel wanted." It hit them hard. Some replied. Most didn't, but her booking site went offline within 24 hours. The Patreon? Gone. The podcasts? Pulled episodes. By the weekend, Shayla posted a video. From her car, real tears, real panic, no filters. She blamed spiritual burnout, said she'd stepped away to recalibrate, claimed she'd be focusing on herself, off the grid. Translation? She'd lost the script. For once. She had no plan. I sat on my porch that night with a cigar and a scotch, watched the sun, dip behind the water, and I finally felt something I hadn't in months. Peace. Not triumph, not spite, just stillness. But life wasn't done twisting yet. The next morning, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I answered. "Hey, is this Cal?" A voice I didn't recognize. Quiet, nervous. "This is Reed. I stood up, tension snapping back into my chest. Why are you calling me? He paused, then said the last thing I expected. She left me a letter. What? She took off last night. Just left. Didn't say where she was going. But she left a letter behind. For you. I blinked. What kind of letter? It's not angry, not desperate, just sad. Like she finally figured something out. I thought you should know. I didn't answer right away. Part of me wanted to hang up. The other part? Text me a photo, I said. 10 minutes later, I got the image. It was real. Her handwriting, her final words. I thought love was supposed to rescue me, but it turns out it was supposed to refine me. I'm sorry, Cal, not for leaving, but for expecting you to be my mirror when I never looked at myself. No return address, no phone number, just gone. I stared at it for a long time. Did I feel sorry for her? No. But I finally understood her. She didn't want a husband. She wanted an audience, and when the clapping stopped, she vanished. Weeks passed, the town forgot, but I didn't, not because I was angry. That burned off long ago, like fog after sunrise. What was left behind wasn't rage, just clarity. I rebuilt everything, reputation, business, soul. The smear campaign faded like a bad dream. Clients returned. Granger offered to rename the bar's signature drink the Post-it Martini, vodka, bitter lime, and a note of vengeance. I declined. But I laughed. People still whispered about Shayla. She'd gone dark. No videos, no podcasts, nothing. A digital disappearance. Her sister posted something vague about extended healing and emotional detox. I didn't care. I was done. But fate? Fate wasn't. It was a Tuesday. Sky clear. Shop buzzing. I was sanding a hull when a black SUV pulled up. Out stepped a woman I'd never seen. Late 30s. Business casual, eyes sharp. Cal Montgomery? I wiped my hands. Who's asking? She handed me a card. A&E Network, associate producer. Mind if I talk to you about your story? I stared at her. Excuse me? We've been researching viral relationship breakdowns for a new documentary. Yours came up. The Post-it, the silent video, the countersuit. It's gold. I blinked. You want to film my divorce? We want to tell your story. Real, raw, honest. You've become something of a local legend. I didn't respond. She kept going. You're the anti-hero. The guy who got cheated on and turned the whole thing into a silent mic drop. The kind of revenge arc that makes people cheer. Think of it like justice, with ad revenue. She smiled. I didn't. But inside, oh man, I could already see it. Cut to Sheila, crying into a camera. Cut to me, holding the Post-it. Cut to Reed, vaping behind a dumpster. It wasn't about fame. It was about something else. Legacy. Let me think about it, I said. She nodded. We'll be in touch. That night, I stared at the marina, sun dipping low, boats bobbing, water catching every last flicker of daylight. I lit a fire on the dock, real wood, real flames, and I fed it. The old photos, the wedding invite, the Post-it, her final letter, all of it, burned, one by one, not in anger, in peace. Because the truth was, she never broke me. She revealed me. The man I was before her, quiet, passive, predictable, but now I was fireproof. A week later, I stood in front of a camera crew, makeup guy dabbing my face, boom mic overhead. Producer leaned in. First question, what went through your mind when you saw the Post-it? I smiled and delivered the line that would headline every clip, every trailer, every clickbait thumbnail for months. I didn't lose a wife. I lost 135 pounds of dead weight and a dude named Reed. Cut to black, roll credits. Fade in, Cal Montgomery, full custody of his sanity. And just like that, the man they tried to break became the story they couldn't stop watching. Savage? Absolutely. Final? Forever. And here it is, the finale of today's story. Did everything turn out as you imagined, or did it end unexpectedly? I'd love to hear what you think. Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and let's dive into the discussion together. If this story kept you in suspense, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't signed up yet, what are you waiting for? This is your chance to join an incredible community where exciting new stories unfold every day. Click the subscribe button and turn on notifications to stay up to date. Thanks for your attention and see you on your new adventures.